Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. In today's video we'll be covering the best Game Week 1 draft. In my opinion, this draft will help you get the best start in FPL and help you climb the ranks and your mini leagues at the start of this FPL season. If you do enjoy today's video, then please like, comment and subscribe as we're trying to reach 350 subs before the start of the season. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into today's video. To start off today's draft, we go with Ederson in goal. Last year's third highest scoring goalkeeper with 155 points. City's fixtures are absolutely amazing. West Ham, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Tottenham and Wolves. Tottenham's probably the only one in there that you have to kind of worry about, but an amazing start to the season for Manchester City, especially in terms of defensive fixtures. I could see them keeping at least 5, maybe 6 clean sheets, and that is why we've gone for Ederson in goal at the start. Obviously, last year he played 37 games, conceded 26 goals and had 20 clean sheets. Absolutely amazing stuff from him last season. City were also the best joint defence in the league last year, keeping 21 clean sheets in total. My only concern with Ederson is his price at 5.5 million and the fact that he doesn't face many shots compared to other 4.5 and 5 million goalkeepers, so he's probably not going to get many bonus points this season. But for the great fixtures that City have got at the start, I do believe it is worth going for Ederson. I think Mendy is also another fantastic shout, as are the plethora of 4.5 million. But down to the fact that City have an amazing start to the season and the fact that they're so good at keeping clean sheets, I've gone for Ederson as my goalkeeper. But let's move on to our first defender, and it is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Obviously, he had to be in this team. He's going to be in absolutely everybody's team. Highest scoring defender in FPL last season. 12 assists, 2 goals. He's amazing value at 7.5 million. We all know what Trent is capable of. We all know how good Liverpool are in terms of defence as well. Again, same with City. Joint best defence in the league last year. The fixtures as well are really good for Liverpool: Fulham, Crystal Palace, Man United, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Everton, Wolves and Chelsea. The only fixtures of concern are Manchester United and Chelsea, both away. But with how strong Liverpool and City are, I don't think there's a fixture that you'd be put off unless they're playing each other. I think they're capable of kind of rolling over anyone else in the league because they're that strong and they're that good above everyone else. But yeah, Trent, the first defender in our team, a real just staple of a good FPL side for the past few years, and I do believe that trend will continue this year. Moving on, next to Trent we have Reece James. Now Reece James did have a little bit of an injury-riddled season last year, only managed to play 26 games, but in those 26 games got 5 goals, 9 assists. He was the second highest scoring Chelsea defender, only by Rudiger, but he was only 9 points behind Rudiger despite playing 8 games less. It shows the impact that these fullbacks, these attacking fullbacks, have within our side over the centre-backs. Yes, the centre-backs sometimes are more nailed picks, more regular starters, but when these attacking fullbacks do play and do get the attacking returns plus clean sheets, their points go absolutely wild. The only concern with Reece James, and the reason I've kind of changed my own personal draft from having double Chelsea at the back, is they played a back four against Arsenal the other night where they lost 4-0. So that is a little bit of concern because it is going to mean that the fullbacks aren't going to be getting as high up the pitch. They're going to have to do more defensive duties, meaning less attacking returns. I do believe that will make Reece James a worse option if they are playing a back four. Also in the preseason game against Charlton, Reece James played at right centre-back, so he is a little bit of a concern at the moment, but for 6 million, there are lots of other quality defenders around that price point that I can switch him to if it does look like Chelsea aren't going to start the season well, or are playing with a back four, or Reece James is playing at centre-back. Moving on, we start with Arsenal's new signing, Zinchenko from Manchester City. I've put Zinchenko in as I do believe he's going to be a fantastic asset this year. Arsenal have amazing fixtures to start the season: Crystal Palace, Leicester, Bournemouth, Fulham, Aston Villa, Man United, Everton and Brentford. moved to Arsenal due to the fact that he wants to play more games, and one of the big things that I read was down to the fact that he doesn't like to play in defence, but I do believe for Arsenal he will be playing quite a lot of games at left back due to Kieran Tierney's injury issues, but I also believe he's going to play a lot of games in the kind of central midfield role within this box-to-box kind of position, like he does for Ukraine. And if he can play there whilst getting clean sheet points, that is absolutely gold dust. Like I said in my how to do better on your mini leagues video, when we find these out of position players, they're the players that are going to absolutely explode on FPL. And if Zinchenko can get into that midfield slot and secure it for himself, then it's going to be an absolute gold mine. As well, at 5 million, there's a lot of other players around that price point. Matty Cash, Kieran Trippier. There's lots of other players that we can kind of switch him to. Cucurella, Kyle Walker. Lots of other players if Zinchenko looks like he's going to stay at left back, or if Arsenal's fixtures take a turn. Last season, played 15 games, getting 0 goals and 4 assists for Manchester City. Like I said, bit part team in their kind of their squad, but this year he probably will be playing plus 30 games for Arsenal. And moving on to our final defender, another player I do believe that you're going to have in your team if you want to do well at FPL this year, and it is Manchester City's João Cancelo. Last year was the second highest scoring defender within the game, getting 201 points, 1 goal and 11 assists in 36 games. Absolutely amazing from Cancelo, and it's the reason why we've gone for the City double up as well at the back, because they're absolutely phenomenal at keeping clean sheets. I do believe, like I said, that City are going to get 5-6 clean sheets in the first 8 fixtures, and having that City double up is going to massively help boost your rank and boost you above your mates in your mini league. Obviously, last season as well, had 81 shots, the most of any defender in the league. Second closest was Trent with 51. Cancelo just blew it out of the water. Obviously, it did only score 1 goal. A lot of his shots do come from outside the box as well, so you're going to have low XG. But if you can continue to get into the positions to kind of have that many shots per game, like over a season, then he's definitely going to get more attacking output this season. He's just fantastic, isn't he, João Cancelo? And I do believe that he's going to be one of them options that you just got to have in your team if you want to do well this year in FPL. But with that in mind, let's move on to our midfield. And moving on to our midfield, we start with our 2 kind of differential midfielders within the side. We'll start first with Leon Bailey. Last year, absolutely riddled with injury, was only able to play 18 games and accumulated 755 minutes. Did get 1 goal and 3 assists during that period, and he did look good for flashes last season. However, he just couldn't keep himself fit, kept getting injured, and just really couldn't get himself up to game speed, up to the level of the Premier League. But prior to joining the Premier League, he did play 30 games for Bayern Leverkusen, getting 9 goals and 8 assists in the season previous. Good record. If he can produce them kind of numbers at 5 million, we are potentially looking at a bargain, absolute bargain, who's going to haul for us here. Obviously, as well, another inclination that's drawn me towards Leon Bailey is a fantastic pre-season that he's had. He's been playing plenty of games for Aston Villa over the course of pre-season, getting himself 2 goals as well, including a sensational solo run against Manchester United. For me, the reason I've put him in is I believe that he's worth that 0.5 million over putting a 4.5 million, another 4.5 million within my team. I believe he's worth that little bit of a gamble, especially at the start of the season. If he can continue this pre-season form with the good fixtures that Villa have to start the season as well, I do believe he could be a fantastic asset for me at the start. I also think Pedro Neto is a wonderful player and will absolutely rip up the Premier League this season. He's another one who's been killing pre-season. I just couldn't afford him in this team, and with Chelsea's defence looking a little bit wobbly, I did decide to go Ederson. But that is something that you could potentially look at. You could drop Ederson down to a 4.5 or a 5 million goalkeeper and upgrade Bailey to Neto. Both, honestly, absolutely fantastic picks. But I do slightly prefer Bailey just down to the price. I think at 5 million, if he can kind of put up similar numbers that he was doing at Leverkusen, he will be an absolute exceptional option this year. Moving on to the man next to him, and it is Marcus Rashford, another player who seems to be kind of getting back to his best. Obviously had a really good pre-season for Manchester United, been playing plenty of games, getting himself amongst the goals in this kind of front four that Manchester United have got with Martial, Sancho, Bruno and Rashford, doing really well. Obviously, last season was a big disappointment for the forward. 25 games, 4 goals, 2 assists. The least goals he has scored in a season within his entire professional career. I think a lot of the thing with Marcus Rashford is he's been overplayed throughout his late teenage years and his early 20s. I think as well, obviously, the issues that he had, well, not the issues, well, it was the issues that kind of came with the pressure of obviously feeding all the school kids. I think it's a tremendous thing that he did, but there was no need for him to be put under like that kind of scrutiny and that kind of pressure. That is going to have an impact on anyone at any level, despite what their profession is. It's going to have a huge impact, and I think that did play on his mind mentally last year. That's kind of all faded away. He's still doing his good work, but there's no longer that kind of public eye on him anymore. So I do believe that he's going to get back to his best. At 6.5 million as well, he's a really nice, easy way to get into that good looking Manchester United front three. If they can take the form that they've showed in pre-season into the start of the season, it could be absolutely mesmerising to watch, and Rashford is the cheapest way to get in there. As well, at 6.5, you can obviously drop him down to a 6 or push him up to a 7. There's plenty of players within that price range, so if Rashford isn't the option, then we can make our mind up and bin him off. United's fixtures as well are a little bit shaky. Brighton, Brentford, Liverpool, Southampton, Leicester, Arsenal, Crystal Palace and Leeds. Some really tasty fixtures in there. And then there's the Arsenal and Liverpool games. I am going to give him 2 games to kind of figure out if he's up to the standard, and then for that Liverpool game he may be transferred out of my team. We'll just have to wait and see kind of how the United front three works, whether or not Ronaldo comes back in the side as well. It looks like he's potentially staying, and what impact he will have on that front three. But let's move on to our next midfielder, and it is Mohamed Salah, last year's top point scorer in FPL. 35 games for him last season, getting 23 goals, 14 assists and accumulating 265 points. Absolutely mesmerising was Mo Salah at times last season. Easy captaincy pick as well for game week 1 for Fulham. Fulham, a lot of Fulham fans are questioning their transfer policies at the moment and the fact that they haven't brought a centre-back in, and they're really worried for the start of the season, especially when you're playing such a ferocious Liverpool attack with Mo Salah. So we're not going to say too much on Mo Salah. Everyone knows what he's about. He's a guaranteed pick and an easy captaincy pick for game week 1. So let's move on to Luis Diaz, a player who's been featuring in a lot of my drafts recently. I've been really impressed with him last season and at the start of the season as well with Porto. Last year for Liverpool, 4 games, 3 goals in 13 games for Liverpool since joining from Porto in January. Obviously, the Jota injury at the moment does make him look a lot more nailed, especially with Sadio Mane leaving as well. At the start of the season as well, absolutely ripped it apart for Porto. 18 games, 14 goals, 4 assists with a goal plus assists per 90 of 1.09. Absolutely incredible numbers Luis Diaz put up at the start of last season. He's now had time to bed into the Premier League, bed into Jurgen Klopp's tactics within the Liverpool squad. Hopefully now this is where he can kick on and start to put up them impressive numbers similar to what he did at the start of last season with Porto. If he can do that at 8 million, absolutely bargain territory. Like we said with the Fulham fixture as well, Fulham fans questioning the fact that they haven't signed any defenders so far this window. So if they are looking a little bit ropey, it definitely could be a big chance for Mo Salah and Luis Diaz to really haul on game week 1, and that is what we want to see. As well, he's at that 8 million price point, and there are so many amazing midfielders this year at that price point. So if Luis Diaz or Liverpool's fixtures take a turn for the worst, then we can, just switch around. That's the important thing with this team. There's players in here at different price points who are kind of at similar price points to others, so we can just switch about, easy, nice, and it just keeps flowing. But with that in mind, let's move on to the 2 attackers within our squad. And to finish the best game week 1 draft, we start with Gabriel Jesus. Absolutely been killing it for Arsenal in pre-season so far. 4 games, 4 goals for the man since joining Arsenal. Absolutely great fixtures as well for Arsenal, similar to what we said with Zinchenko. Crystal Palace, Leicester, Bournemouth, Fulham, Aston Villa, Manchester United, Everton and Brentford. There's a reason that his ownership is over 60%. It's at that price point, 8 million. There's not too many other good forwards again this year who are going to catch our eye around that price point. He's at 8 million. He's going to be a starting forward for a top 6 team with amazing fixtures to start the season. Absolutely. It just makes sense to me why he's one of the most owned players. Obviously, you could look at other differential options, but Gabriel Jesus just makes real sense, a real smart decision that you can make, especially with a lot of people owning him as well. Last season, 28 games, 8 goals and 8 assists. However, did play at times quite in a wide position for Manchester City. And last season had 0.77 goals plus assists per 90. It's a real chance for him now to go and make his name within the Premier League. Been a really good player for Manchester City, but similar to Zinchenko, very much a bit part player within that City side. It's now time for him to link back up with Arteta and just kick on, make a real name for himself. And he could easily, absolutely smash it at the start of this FPL season, especially with Arsenal's amazing fixtures. He could be a really, really good option to go for at the 8 million price point as well. Amazing value for money for a starting striker for a top 6 club. But let's move on to my final forward and the final player within our team, and it is Erling Haaland. At the moment, he is the one that is in my team over Harry Kane. Scored on his debut against Bayern Munich within 12 minutes. Big question marks over him though is around his kind of pre-season minutes and the little injuries that he's keeps getting at the moment. There was a report the other day that he's just been failing to kind of get up to match speed, and there have been injuries impacting his pre-season minutes. But if he is fit for game week 1, then I can't see a better striking option. Obviously, Harry Kane does have Southampton, but with City's amazing long-term fixtures and Bournemouth in game week 2, I really want Erling Haaland within my side. Last season, 24 games, 22 goals, 8 assists with a goal plus assist per 90 of 1.41, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely mind-blowing numbers. No one else in world football is putting up these numbers. If he can continue that form with Manchester City, then he's going to be a fantastic option for us. But before we finish, let's look through the bench. We've gone with Olsen from Aston Villa on the bench. Has played a few pre-season games, and there was a lot of question marks about Martinez's form last season. I've seen from a few Villa fans, they were questioning whether or not he is still worthy of the number 1 jersey. So I've gone for Olsen, very good goalkeeper, been around the block, played for a lot of top clubs, especially in the Premier League as well with Everton. So he's a good standard of goalkeeper, and at 4 million, probably got one of the best chances of playing. Next to him, we've gone for Andreas Pereira. Everyone knows what he's about. Got an assist the other night as well for Fulham to set up Mitrovic. So it's good to see that he's playing. He's going to be a regular player for us at 4.5 million. The cheap defender that we've gone for in our team is Nico Williams, obviously moved to Nottingham Forest at 4 million. He's going to play every single game, as I don't think they have another right back. Obviously, last season had Spence, but now they have Williams. If he's going to play week in, week out at 4 million, absolute bargain. It's just what we want to see with our bench players. And finally, the forward, I've gone for Plange. Now, the reason I've gone for Plange is I was looking at Cameron Archer, as he's had a good pre-season with Aston Villa, but I didn't want kind of the Villa triple up in case maybe Coutinho starts the slap or Ollie Watkins if I want to move on to these other players. So we've gone with Plange. Again, been playing a lot of games for Crystal Palace this pre-season, down to the fact that Crystal Palace have had kind of 2 pre-season tours due to certain players not being allowed in certain countries. So we've gone for Plange. Been playing really well in pre-season for the England kind of tour that they've been doing. So it'll be interesting to see if he can make his way within the Crystal Palace side. But that was the video, ladies and gentlemen. This is the best draft, in my opinion, for Game Week 1. If you did enjoy the content on the channel and you want to see more FPL content, then please like the video, leave a comment down below and subscribe. Like I said, we're trying to hit 350 subs before the start of the season. It would be absolutely amazing if we could do that. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed the video. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.